What's going on, everybody? This is Moss Money here for another late night episode of Money Pop Podcast. I'm your host. I'm the CEO. I'm the president. I am him, as they say, or these youngins say out there. I don't even know if I even want to say that right now because I'm a fan right now. And what we're here to talk about is Mr. Colin Cowherd and his breakdown of the Eagles and what he suspects or he predicts for next week. And he was absolutely right. When you talk about a football team, especially a Philadelphia team, fan base gets a little bit rowdy, gets a little bit more aggressive, especially here in Philadelphia. So what I decided to do was take his nice little video and break it down bit by bit. We're going to do this for a quick 10, 15 minutes. Get people in, get people out, get people to comment, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Y'all know what it is on the algorithm tip. Help me out. Let's grow up the brand. Let's do what we do, and let's get it popping. All right. So let us bring up the video. All right. Let me bring up the file of the video.
This morning. And we always know that every year there's.
All right, hold on now. Let me get down here now. Let me start it back. All right. So this is the video about him saying that the Eagles are going to drop off this year based off previous playoff teams who had good success one year and then came back and had a flop the next year. However, I'm going to break this down because there are significant differences that he does point out is different than those teams versus what we have here in Philadelphia. So let's listen to the video.
We went back this morning. And we always know that every year there's 7 new playoff teams. And anytime you suggest a team that made it last year won't this year, people freak out. But there'll be 7 new playoff teams. Half the playoff teams won't make it. If I simply suggested one won't make it, that fan base freaks out. But here's something else that.
Now, we're not freaking out, but we are commenting, Colin. We are commenting. So we're not freaking out just yet, but we are making a conscious, not a conscious effort, but conscious responses as only us Philadelphians can. Continue.
Happens in the NFL for 5 straight years. A really high-end playoff team. Rams won the Super Bowl. Falls off a cliff. Why?
Why? Because they went all in. They didn't build their team the way we did. So that's one cross off. You got to cross off the Rams. The Rams went all in. They traded for Stafford. They got Von Miller. They got Odell. They did everything they could to say, hey, we're going to win a Super Bowl this year, and it paid off. And obviously it fell apart. People got hurt, et cetera, et cetera. Contracts 1 year, et cetera, et cetera. You know how that goes. So you can cross the Rams off.
So we went back 5 years and we spotted the teams. These are really good teams with a lot of momentum, getting to the playoffs, doing something special, often a Super Bowl team, and then it goes sideways fast. So let's take the Rams. What happened? Massive offensive line injuries. You can put it up. And Matt Stafford got hurt. So
what are you saying? Is that going to happen to us? Like, injuries are part of the game. We know that. But they had the biggest injury to the biggest position on the field. So, a little shaky, boss. A little shaky.
An older quarterback who'd had a few injuries. O-line gets banged up, and it goes sideways. The year before, both the Ravens and the Seahawks, playoff teams, and then missed the playoffs in 2021. What happened?
Why?
Lamar Jackson got hurt.
People get hurt, and you're comparing the most important position on the field who's getting hurt. So these things happen. So are you insinuating because Jalen is a running quarterback that he's probably going to get hurt? Now, he talks about this a little bit. It's not a lie. Like he's not speaking any, like he ain't speaking gibberish. It is very true. The more you run as a quarterback, the higher your risk and your chance of getting hurt. But what we've seen from Jalen Hurts that I haven't seen from Lamar, the Cams, and even younger Russell, right, wasn't like this, is that he doesn't take a lot of big hits. Now you can have people fall on him like he did on his shoulder, and his shoulder got hurt, but he doesn't take a lot of big hits. There's a big difference. He's very intelligent and smart on how he slides and gets his body down. Key example: softball game. He slid right into third and giddied right into the home plate. So there's a key difference here.
Injuries to the offense, and Russell Wilson, 12-4 to a non-playoff team, 7-10. They got hurt. In 2020, who was it? It was New England. Tom Brady left. That'll do it.
No shit. Okay, so next.
12-4 to 7-9. In 2020, it was San Francisco, 13-3 to 6-11. What happened? Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. They also had several injuries.
So if you see this list here, in every team, the starting quarterback got hurt. So this isn't like rocket science. Like, you're not really proving anything. Injuries are part of the game. You're insinuating that Hurts is going to get hurt. No pun intended. But that's what you're insinuating. Because there's nothing here outside of Brady leaving that is anything outside of an injury. Injuries are part of the game. You have to get lucky to stay healthy throughout the full season. But it's a reach here for me. It's a reach.
In 2019, 12-4 to 5-11, the Chargers. An aging Phillip Rivers was completely vulnerable as the Chargers O-line fell apart. 30th ranked offensive line, according to PFF, and the Chargers were in the tank. And then,
all right, so he's talking about the Chargers. Their O-line stinks. We have the best O-line in the league. So I don't know. He's just reaching here. He's just really reaching here for me.
and in 2018, from playoffs, 11-5 Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton never really healthy that year. They fall to 7-9. In every single one of them, it is a quarterback that's either old, previously injured, moves a lot, gets hurt, and in many instances, the O-line falls apart in front of him. So now we have to tell you a team that we think is really good.
We think is really good? No, they're more than really good.
But
bro.
there's some blinking red lights.
All right. I don't know what to say about this one, but what are the blinking red lights that we see here? We're the best team in the NFC. We have the best roster in the NFC. And some way, somehow, we got better last year than we were. We got better this year than we were last year. I need to understand what these blinking red lights are. Continue.
So remember Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts, second year starting last year, runs more per game than any quarterback since Lamar Jackson got hurt. Little wide receiver.
Did he get hurt running, though? No, he didn't. He got hurt by somebody stacking him and falling on his shoulder. So, reaching here, Colin. Reaching, bro. You're reaching here.
Drama, A.J. Brown. Leading rushers gone. Offensive line is really, really old.
Okay, so let's start right here. A.J. Brown drama. What receiver doesn't yell for the ball? That's a given, okay? He didn't go out and do anything crazy. He just said he wants the ball. Why? He had 1,500 yards. He had 10 touchdowns. Good things happen when he has the ball in his hands. So why not throw me the ball more? Typical number one receiver stuff. I think that's water under the bridge. I don't think it was as big as what people had made it to be. Now, what's your running game? Miles Sanders disappeared, disappeared. He disappeared in the Super Bowl. He didn't get the ball. We actually upgraded the position, and now the running back position is one of the strongest and deepest positions on the team. Even though we have guys that are injured, behind them are guys that are proven that know our system that are here. Then you talk about how old the offensive line is. Give you Kelsey, give you Lane. They are getting up in age. This is Kelsey's farewell tour. We all know it. It ain't like they ain't got nobody behind Kelsey, though. Not saying he is Kelsey, but I think the kid is pretty good. He's had years to watch Kelsey, to be his second, I believe, year on the team. He'll be ready to go when Kelsey retires. And if Kelsey gets hurt, we're still good. Now, Lane is different, but Lane is also the best right tackle in the league. So, I don't know, man. It's all reach to me. All a reach.
And the other thing is, Nick Sirianni gave up play calling, and then they got really good. Uh-oh. They lost both coordinators, including the play caller, Shane Steichen, who.
Now, I do give him this. This is a very good point. Very, very good point here is that they did lose both of the coordinators. And you're expected to when you make it to the Super Bowl. We can say what we want about Gannon, but my belief was he still had a top two defense. Regardless if you like him or not, regardless if he talks about gutting these guys, regardless if he wasn't focused, regardless, the numbers say that he had a number two defense. They were stacked even more, but he still had a number two defense. Then, Steichen, the play calling got better. That offensive figuring out, I think it's going to take some time, but I still think that they hired the right person for that job, who's been in the system, who knows Jalen Hurts. I think they will be okay. I expect a little bit of regression there. So I think that is a valid and a pretty decent point.
Now coach for the Colts. I know, Eagle fan, you know you're getting back to the Super Bowl. But there's a
Absolutely.
lot of blinking lights here.
All right, let's go back to this. What blinking lights, Colin? What blinking lights do we actually see? What's that like? The OCDC is the only point you made that was valid. Everything else, eh, come on, man.
Go look at the Chargers. Old offensive line fell apart. The Rams, old or underperforming offensive line fell apart. Stafford had been hurt. Garoppolo had been hurt.
I
Lamar
don't know
had
what
been
we're
hurt.
talking about, brother.
Russell was aging, moves around. Bad Seahawk offensive line. Now, we think Philadelphia is the best team in the NFC. I do. Second best roster to San Francisco.
Now, that shit should be a blinking light because I don't understand how you have us below the San Francisco 49ers with an unproven quarterback, even though the the quarterback system is very friendly. He wasn't doing anything when he was in there. Brock Purdy was obviously the better quarterback of the two at the point, and he proved that. So we're just expecting that to be a carousel and that just to pick up. Now, they do have a loaded roster. I'm not saying that they don't. And it is very close to rival the Eagles. But the fact that we have the second, the runner up to the MVP, and a player who balled out in the biggest game of the year, had his best game, come on, bro. They're not better than our roster. You can't say that we're the best team in the NFC, but we don't have the best roster. Why? That doesn't really make sense to me. Continue.
But this team got really good when Nick Sirianni said, I'm giving up the play calling. Shane Steichen is who Justin Herbert had a great rookie year with and who Jalen Hurts went from, is he any good, to a possible MVP. Coaching matters. He's gone. So's the defensive coordinator. Oh, the schedule, by the way.
Now, the schedule is pretty
10
good.
teams that made the playoffs on the schedule.
Tough
And by the
schedule.
way, from October 8th to December 17th, at Matt Stafford, at Aaron Rodgers, Miami high-powered offense,
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys at Mahomes, Buffalo, San Francisco, at Dak, at Seattle.
Yeah, that's a
Long
tough road.
trips, a lot of trips, great quarterbacks, week after week after week. That is a 10-week stretch with only one layup, and that's a division rival, a team that's more talented, J-Mac and I have agreed, than they get credit for at Washington. Washington's not great, but it's a division rival, and you're on the road. And oh, by the way, it's the week before the Cowboy game, your biggest rival. That's your classic upset special alert. So
Yeah.
I think Philadelphia is really good, but there's some blinking lights. Old O-line, lose your OC,
Some
Jalen
blinking
Hurts
lights,
moves, schedule's brutal, no breaks in the middle, lost your best leading rusher.
All right. So, in closing, Colin has some fair points, but he's still way off. No, let me take it back. He's not way off. The schedule is fair, and the offensive defense of coordinators are concerns are fair as well. But this comparison to Lamar and Russell and Rivers, trash. I can't. It's not a good comparison. The offensive line, not a good comparison. The opening of it was just not good. Finished a little bit better, but I can't agree to this at all. At all. What up, Don Don? What's up, bro? Um, I think it was a little bit of clickbait because you know how Philly is, and you know somebody would do something like this, just like I did. But at the same time, Colin talking out his ass like he normally does. So that's my little rant and breakdown of the Cowherd Eagles fall off video. This is Moss Money. This is Money Pop Podcast. We out of here.